Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a really big question, one you might think has an obvious answer. What is a university actually for? Well, it turns out that role is shifting in a huge way. So let's dive in and explore how universities are being completely reimagined for the 21st century.
For ages, the answer was pretty simple: teaching and research. But in the world we live in today, this super connected, complex world, that's just not enough anymore. The whole focus is moving from just what happens on campus to the real-world impact that universities have on all of society.
So what we're really seeing is this massive move away from the old ivory tower idea, right? Where knowledge was this thing you pursued just for the sake of it, locked away from the world. The new vision, it's the university as a community hub, a real engine for positive change that creates knowledge to help everyone. Now, this whole transformation is being guided by this really powerful concept called University Social Responsibility, or USR for short. The best way to think about it is like a brand new operating system for higher education. It's the framework that's totally redefining what a university's mission is. And the key thing to get here is that USR isn't about, one-off charity events or bake sales. Nope. It's a core strategic commitment. It's woven right into the DNA of the university, and it shapes every single decision, from what's taught in the classroom to how the campus itself is run. I love this analogy. It's such a powerful way to think about it. If the teaching and research are the parts of the university you can see, the branches and leaves, then USR is the root system. It's that deep, strong connection to the community that gives it stability and helps it survive, especially when things get tough. Okay, so USR sounds great as an idea, right? But how does it actually work in the real world? Well, it's built on three very solid concrete pillars that turn this big vision into something practical. So here they are: environmental sustainability, social equity and inclusion, and local community engagement. These are the main pathways universities are using to actually live out their new mission. All right, let's dig into each one. First up, environmental sustainability. Universities are in this amazing position to be leaders in ecological change. They can use all their expertise and resources to help build a greener future, not just on their own campus, but everywhere. And a fantastic example of this in action is the University of Worcester over in the UK. They've set this incredibly bold goal to hit net zero carbon emissions by 2030. I mean, that is seriously ambitious, and it's setting a new standard for the whole sector. And as you can see, this is not just some pie-in-the-sky promise. They are taking real, concrete actions. They're doing things like auditing their green spaces, putting in advanced systems for harvesting rainwater and solar power, and even adopting official environmental standards to make sure their efforts are actually working. Okay, pillar number 2. This one is all about people. It's about building diversity and making sure there's equal opportunity for everyone. So the university really reflects the kind of just and fair society we all want to live in. And in the real world, this means actively creating pathways for students from disadvantaged backgrounds, making sure the campus is accessible for people with disabilities, and taking a real stand on big issues like pay equity. In fact, the University of Worcester has been praised for having one of the smallest gender pay gaps in England. That's leading by example. And that brings us to our third and final pillar: breaking down the walls between the campus and the local community. It's about shifting from being isolated to being a true partner, completely integrated with the neighborhood. There's this outreach project in Portugal that just captures the spirit of this perfectly with its name. It's so simple but so powerful. It's a direct invitation that just says, hey, we're your neighbors. You're welcome here. Come on in.
And this engagement comes in all shapes and sizes. Universities are offering things like free medical screenings, setting up community gardens, getting students involved in volunteer programs, and even providing mediation services to help solve local disputes. So you add all of this up, what do you get? Well, the impact creates these incredible ripples that spread far beyond the campus, helping to shape the local economy and even contributing to progress on a global scale. A really important idea here is the concept of an anchor institution. Basically, universities are these huge organizations that are physically anchored to a place. Their success is completely tied to the well-being of their local community. They can't just pick up and move, so their spending and hiring have this massive multiplier effect that boosts local businesses and jobs. And as you can see here, they pump up their regional economies in 3 main ways: by creating a skilled workforce, that's the human capital, by sparking innovation that leads to new startups, and just by their own spending with local suppliers.
And this impact goes way beyond just the local level. Universities are now seen as key players in helping achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, their social impact is actually being measured in global rankings now, looking at how much they contribute to things like quality education and gender equality.
But, of course, a transformation this big is never easy. It's not all smooth sailing. The road to becoming a truly responsible institution is full of challenges, and it's really important to be honest about the hurdles that are still out there. And these challenges are pretty significant. You've got limited funding, which can stop great projects in their tracks. You have skepticism from the community, with people wondering, is this for real or is it just a PR stunt? There's also the risk of greenwashing, making things look good on the surface, and even pushback from more traditional academics inside the university itself. But even with all those obstacles, the ultimate goal is just so vital. It's for universities to reclaim their spot as the moral and ethical compass for society, to be the ones that provide guidance in a world that just keeps getting more and more complex. This means the whole point of higher education is changing. It's no longer just about churning out skilled professionals. It's about shaping responsible global citizens, people who have the knowledge, sure, but also the compassion and the ethical backbone to take on the biggest challenges that our world is facing. So we'll leave you with a question to think about. Consider the university that's closest to you. How strong is its root system? How deep does it go? Is it still an isolated ivory tower, or is it a thriving tree that's making the whole forest around it healthier?